Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining the Garcia versus Lipinets media conference call. Your host for today, Richard Schaefer, will begin.
Thank you, and thank you all for participating in today's call. First of all, I would like to thank our co-promoters, Tom Brown from TGB Promotions and Mike Bata and James Lecha from Lecha Bata Promotions, and as well, of course, our sponsors, Corona, and our local sponsor in San Antonio, Metro PCS, who has activated this fight in over 130 stores in and around San Antonio. But of course, the biggest thank you goes to Al Heyman's PBC and Showtime Sports for their commitment, their continued commitment and passion for the sport of boxing. It is a pleasure now to introduce to you the president of Showtime Sports, Steven Espinosa.
Thanks for the introduction. Glad to be back in San Antonio and glad to be back with Richard working on another big event. I'll be brief here. These two fights on the televised portion speak for themselves. Two title fights in the 140-pound division. 4 fighters who won a fight. Obviously, our main event here, the entire card was postponed for a period of time due to an injury. But everyone was anxious to get it rescheduled. You know, Mikey Garcia certainly wants his opportunity at the title. Sergey Lipinets was just as anxious to keep this fight on the schedule so that he could get a career-making opportunity. We look at our co-feature, Bartholomew and Relic, controversial fight in 2017, and each of them wasted no time wanting to get into a rematch. No one ducked that. So we've got 4 guys in the 140-pound division, all looking at excellent fights. Just a reminder, before the 10:15 Showtime start at 8 p.m. on Showtime Extreme, we have local favorite Mario Barrios and Yudi Bernardo, and then a really solid fight, really a better than solid fight. It's really a stellar fight for an extreme card. I think the lightweight title eliminator between Alejandro Luna and Richard Comey. It's, along with all the other non-televised fights, it's going to be a really strong night of fight. Richard?
Thank you very much, Stephen. And if I could please just remind all the people on the phone, all the speakers, the fighters, and the trainers, to keep the background noise down because everything can be heard and it's very annoying. Thank you very much. So when it comes to history, San Antonio is certainly one of the richest cities in the United States. Many battles have taken place there outside of the ring and more recently inside the ring. San Antonio is a fight town. Its fans are passionate and knowledgeable. So it's only fitting that this historic showdown between one of the hardest hitters in the sport, a world champion and undefeated fighter Sergey Lipinets, against one of the pound for pound best fighters in the world, a 3-division world champion and undefeated superstar Mikey Garcia, is taking place in San Antonio. I was fortunate to promote many big events there, so I'm really excited to bring this exciting card back to San Antonio. We will have an amazing 14 fights on this card. 14 fights, a little bit of everything in store for fight fans. With Efe Ajagba and Eimantas Stanionis, we have 2 of the most talked about Rio Olympians on the card, the hard-hitting and super exciting heavyweight Efe and the Lithuanian undefeated star trained by Freddie Roach, Eimantas Stanionis. 5 of the fighters are from Texas, so there's plenty of Texas flavor on the menu as well, most notably local San Antonio star and undefeated with a record of 20-0, Mario Barrios, and 14-0, Brandon Figueroa, the brother of Omer Figueroa. Then we have as well emerging stars such as Alejandro Luna with 22-0, one of the most exciting fighters in the sport. And we have former world champions as well with Josecito Lopez, another fighter which always brings excitement to the ring. The co-main event, Stephen mentioned it already, features a rematch of one of the most exciting fights of last year between 2-division world champions, Bartholomew and Relic. Fight fans, make the trip to San Antonio. I checked the weather. It's beautiful outside, and it will be hot at the Freeman Coliseum. For as little as $20, you can see the most exciting card, top to bottom, that I can remember in a while. Action, excitement, and passion will be on display. But if you can't make it to San Antonio, then make sure you tune in on Showtime, and Stephen already gave you the particulars there with Showtime Extreme, going live at 8 p.m. Easter time, and then 10:15 Easter with Showtime World Championship Boxing with the two World Championship fights. Now I'd like to turn it over to first the trainers and then the fighters. Both fighters are trained by two of the best and most decorated trainers in the world. Sergey Lipinets has the former two-division world champion, Buddy McCurt, who has made a big name as a trainer now as well, having trained many world champions in his corner. And it's a pleasure now to ask Buddy to say a few words.
Good afternoon. Basically, I really don't have much to say, man. I mean, I want to thank everybody for putting the fight together. I think it's a great fight for boxing. I think that Mikey took on a big challenge, as well as we have. But, in boxing, the best should always fight the best. And here's a fight that I guess it didn't take long to make, and I'm happy to be part of it. I mean, as far as anything else goes, I just have 3 words for everybody, and that's wait and watch.
Thank you, Buddy. Well, the Garcias are to boxing what the Kennedys are to politics. They are today the first family of boxing. The patriarch, Eduardo Garcia, he mentions that he's officially retired, but I can tell you he's still very active. Every day he's in the gym and sharing his wisdom with young kids, very passionate about it. He's there at every training session of Mikey, of course. So we have Eduardo, and then there is Robert Garcia, the former world champion and 2012 Boxing Writer of America Trainer of the Year. He has gyms in San Antonio, as a matter of fact, and in California, and will have several of his fighters be active in San Antonio on that card. It is a pleasure now to introduce to you one of the best trainers in the world, Robert Garcia.
What's up, Richard?
Hey. So why don't you give us a few comments? Yeah, why don't you give us a few comments about training?
Oh, we're just ready. We're obviously ready for this fight. Just like Buddy said, it's a big fight for both fighters. So we're definitely took this fight very seriously. And even though it got postponed a month later, we continued our training and sparring. So we're gonna be in good shape for this fight.
Thank you, Robert. By the way, we're going to, of course, open it up afterwards to the media to ask questions of the fighters and trainers. But now to the two undefeated fighters. Both are world champions, and both look at this fight as their platform to make a statement and to make history. First up, Sergey Lipinets is a fighter who has two passions, and in a way, these two passions go hand in hand. It's boxing and chess. If he's not in the gym, he plays chess, and if he does not play chess, he's in the gym. It's pretty much as simple as that. He's heavy-handed, he's strong, he knows as well how to box when necessary, and he quickly became one of the most feared fighters because of his skills and his power. He comes from the Eastern European School of Boxing, born in Kazakhstan, raised in Russia, and now living in Beverly Hills. This young man really deserves a lot of credit to take on in his very first defense, and it's a voluntary title defense, one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. But he did not hesitate a second when the fight was offered to him. He simply said, "No problem, that is how I become a superstar." Please welcome now the undefeated IBF world champion, Sergey Lipinets.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Sergey, maybe you can make some comments about training. I think we have a translator on hand as well.
Richard, this is Alex Waitsfield, his manager. I'll be probably translating for you guys.
Thank you, Alex. Hi. Does Sergey want to make any comments about camp, about how he feels, how it went, about the injury?
У нас все отлично, рука зажила, мы спаррингуем в полную силу, бьем по мешкам, мы работаем. Осталась крайняя спарринговочная неделя, потом гонка веса.
Все отлично, чувствую себя великолепно, готов к битве, рвусь в бой, уже хочется поскорее начать переезд в Техас и дальнейший бой.
Everything is great. Everything went fine, and the hand is completely healed. He's using it at will, no problem, full power. Very anxious. Really want to get to San Antonio and just get in the ring under the lights. He's just very excited about the opportunity. He believes that that's the only way he can make a statement in boxing. Even winning the fighter, winning the title, he still didn't really feel like a champ because of the fact that he didn't really fight a guy that has been on the top of the game in a world of boxing. No offense to Mr. Konda. It's just that he really can't wait till he shows his skills and prove to himself first, and then everybody else that he belongs on the top of the food chain.
Thank you, Alex. Now, Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia, in my books and in the books of many, is today pound for pound the best fighter in the world. It's not what, in my opinion, it's not about what you've done in 1 or 2 or 3 fights, but it is his cumulative achievements with 37 wins and 0 losses. The fact that he is already a 3-division world champion, and the fact that he continues to challenge himself to fight the best and most dangerous opponents. His smarts inside of the ring are as evident as they are outside of the ring. He stands up for what is right and what is wrong. He's very much involved in charitable causes and is a mentor to many young fighters. All this together makes, in my books, Mikey pound for pound and today's ambassador of the sport of boxing. I am very proud to be part of his journey, and it is a distinct pleasure now to introduce to you the undefeated superstar, Mikey Garcia.
Hey, guys. Hi, Richard. Thank you. Well, can you hear me? Am I on?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go on.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Well, I was just gonna, be brief. I'm very happy with training camp. Very excited for the upcoming fight. We're only less than 2 weeks away now, and camp went great. Even though it was pushed a few weeks, it really didn't affect us at all. Like my brother told you, we continued our training, we continued our sparring, and we peaked at the right moment. We worked hard. We had great sparring partners for this match as well, so I couldn't be happier. I'm very excited to be in San Antonio. I know it's a big boxing community. My brother has a gym out there, and so we have a big, strong fan base in San Antonio. And in general, to be in Texas is great. I won a world title there back in 2013, and now I get an opportunity to win another world title in the state of Texas. So I'm very excited for that as well. I can't take Lipinets lightly at all. I know he's a tough, determined champion, and he sees a huge opportunity in front. When he faces me, if he were to beat me, sky's the limit for him. But I'm not, looking at that. I'm focusing on winning. I believe my skills and my boxing abilities are greater than what he brings, and I'm just excited for the fight. I'm ready to get on now, and I think this will open up even bigger doors for me. So it's going to be a huge accomplishment when I do win this world title on the 10th, and I think it'll be a big celebration for our family, my dad, my brother, for my nephew Pita, for the whole family to be champions in another division, and just wish everybody can come and join us and watch this night of boxing. It's going to be a great night. I just can't explain how happy I am. It's a great opportunity, great position that I'm at, and I'm just very thankful to be where I am.
Thank you very much, Mikey. Operator, if we could please open it up now to the media to ask questions of the fighters or trainers or any of the other participants from this call.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions at this time, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. Again, if you have any questions at this time, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. And our first question is going to come from Dan Raphael from ESPN. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Hey, Mikey, how are you today?
Hey, Rick. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing good. My first question for you, Mikey, is this. I know that it means a lot to you to try to get this next title in another weight class, and that's the reason why you decided to fight Lipinets. But when you look at Sergey's record, he's only got 13 professional fights. I know he had a good amateur career. But how much of a factor in this fight do you think will be your really way more professional experience against a lot of good opponents will be when it comes to him trying to figure you out? How much is that going to be a difference in your mind?
You know, I don't think the experience is the difference here. I think he has, you know, a lot of experience, like you mentioned, as an amateur, and then even moving up the ranks as a pro. I mean, to be champion in only his 13th fight tells you the caliber of fighter that he is. You know, it took me 35 to get a title. It only took him 13. So it definitely tells you, you know, he's champion material and experienced enough to be there. I think the deciding factor and what's going to allow me to prevail is my boxing abilities, my speed, my footwork, my timing. You know, the boxing, you know, skills that I possess, I think are greater, and that's what's going to help me win my fight.
Okay, now I know that this is going to be your second fight in a row at 140 after your fight with Broner last summer. And I know on some of the comments that you made at your workout for the press last week, you spoke about, you know, at some point, maybe in the not-too-distant future, you said even maybe by the end of this year you may be fighting as a welterweight, and obviously that's an extremely talent-rich division with a lot of big names that could be in your future. So I wonder, with that said, 2 fights in a row at 140, possibly being a champion in this weight class, you know, in a couple of weeks, as well as the huge amount of possibilities at 147, Are you ready to say that you're done at 135 pounds?
No, I am not done at 135, and unless you guys just don't include the entire quote, when I do mention, you know, moving up to 147, I always mention that I do want to come back to 135 after this fight with Lipinets. I want to come down to 135 and unify the titles there before officially leaving the division. But okay. The plan is to fight this fight first, take care of business on the 10th, then I will look at my options. But I do want to do a unification match at lightweight, and then, you know, eventually make my way up to 147. Maybe, like you said, maybe even by the end of this year. I've said it, maybe by the end of this year. If not, then next year for sure. You know, that's a rich, you know, division with huge names, huge fights that I want to be part of.
Richard, do you think you could tell me your thoughts about Mikey's game plan about beyond? I know he's got to win the fight on the 10th, and obviously Sergey is standing in the way, but his thoughts that he perhaps could somehow, you know, I know politically it's complicated making fights with guys like Linares and Lomachenko, but to have a unification fight and then, as he said, move into that 147 weight class with a ton of good talent.
Well, I don't think first of all, to have a fighter who can be dominant or who is dominant in 2 weight classes, and once he moves in 147, I have no doubt that he will be dominant there as well. I think it's exactly what I said before in the opening remarks. That is what somebody who is pound for pound on the top of the list. As it relates to making these fights done at 135, it's really not that difficult. The WBC already ordered the fight between Mikey and Linares, so that shouldn't be too difficult, a fight to be made. And
Richard, I got to interrupt you on that. The notion that the WBC is going to order the fight, I find preposterous. I say that with no disrespect, but because Linares is the WBA champion, so he's not going to allow some other organization to dictate his fight. That's all.
Well,
that's
then I guess he would have to give up whatever belt he holds there for the WBC, which, you know, he might want to do. But what I'm saying is, you know, where there's a will, there's a way, and I think if that fight should be able to be made, and nobody gets any options on anybody, and so I think it shouldn't really be that difficult of a fight to be made. But in the end of the day, if the fight happens or doesn't happen, we're not talking about, You know, I mean, if that fight happens, great. If it doesn't happen, there are other options at 135 for Mikey, such as Robert Easter. So he has a lot of options at 35. He has a lot of options at 140 as well, including potentially the winner of the other fight, which is going to be on this.
Excuse me. Can we talk about Mikey and Sergey?
Yeah, exactly. So
there's
a lot of options going to be open for him. But you know, Buddy is absolutely right. You know, first things first, and I think this is exactly dangerous when you start overlooking opponents, because, and I had that same conversation with Mikey, not to overlook Sergey, and I know he doesn't. So, you know, let's have that conversation. We might have that same conversation about Sergey then after the final bell on March the 10th. So, but I think there are definitely for both fighters big options out there.
So that leads me, Buddy, that leads me to my question for Sergey. And I know Mikey is not doing it with animosity or, you know, like he's looking past him necessarily, but the reality is he was asked by other reporters as well about fighting these other unifications and perhaps at welterweight. So I want to know from Sergey, how does he in any way feel sort of dissed, because there is a lot of conversation about Mikey Garcia, people thinking he has such a huge future, like this fight's not even there, that he could have a unification fight at 135, or he could go up and fight one of the big names at 147, or have, as Richard mentioned, a unification against the winner of the undercard fight on March 10th. What is Sergey's perspective about all the plans that are sort of out there that Mikey could be involved in beyond this fight?
Как ты это чувствуешь, что все говорят о Майке, что он собирается быть чемпионом там, еще там, и что как бы к тебе относятся немножко с неуважением. Вот какие у тебя были бы планы выиграть бой с Майки?
Ну, во-первых, мне нужно выиграть бой, а за плечами я не буду смотреть в дальнейшем. Сначала нужно выиграть впереди, что идет, а не строить план на будущее. Так меня не очень беспокоит это. Добавляет, наоборот, мотивации больше.
Well, first of all, the fact that everybody's talking about Mikey fighting this guy after that fight or that guy after that fight, it really doesn't matter to Sergey. If anything, it motivates him even more. As far as looking for some other fights after that fight, he's not, like he stated in his Twitter, he's not looking past Mikey. There's nothing that he's thinking about but Mikey's fight. And then when that fight actually occurs and when he comes out the way he's going to come out of that ring, then he'll start talking about the future opponents. Of course, he wants to fight the best. He proved in his whole career as a boxer that he fought always tougher guys than people with his record should have been fighting. He was not built up on dead buddies. He was not built up on people that were supposed to be opponents. So, he's looking for a challenge all the time. But first thing first, March 10, Mikey Garcia.
Okay, Dan, any other questions?
Our next question comes from Keith Idek from theboxingscene.com. Please go ahead.
Yes, Alex, can you ask Sergey how much better his hand feels at this point, less than 2 weeks before the fight, than maybe he did if the fight hadn't been postponed before, and how it felt at that point in camp then?
Как сейчас твоя рука, насколько она лучше, чем то, что было, когда ты ее ударил?
Сейчас она вообще как новая, даже лучше, чем была, поэтому ее видите в деле мою правую руку очень много раз.
It's better than ever. It's like a brand new hand. I mean, it's way better than it was before. You will see that right hand in action, guaranteed, March 10th. Not once, but many times.
Alex, can you ask him if, in hindsight, I know he wanted to move forward with the fight because he was worried about it being rescheduled and everything, but can you ask him in hindsight if he's happy that it was postponed because now he's going into the fight healthy as opposed to before?
Sure. Ты был доволен, что бой перенесли? Или был расстроен этим из-за того, что рука?
Ну, конечно, недоволен, но не расстраивался особо, поэтому, потому что все как дано, так и должно быть, и это даже к лучшему с собой перенесли, мне было больше времени подготовиться, настроиться, все отлично.
Well, it's really, of course he was upset, of course he was distracted, but in hindsight, as you said, you know, everything happened for the reasons he said. He's been very philosophical about it, and then look, I mean, it's just whatever happens. He got a little more time. As a matter of fact, even worked for the best. So he's great now. That's the main thing.
I have a question for Buddy also. Buddy, you interjected before because it's, you know, it sounds like...
Hold on. Buddy just walked out. Just give me 1 second. He's coming back in.
Okay. Well, I'll ask Mikey a question while he's getting Buddy. But, Mikey, I was just wondering what you thought of Lipinets' last performance. And I know he was fighting a very durable guy who's never been knocked out. And I was just wondering what your thoughts were on that fight.
Well, from what I've seen, you know, he did fight a very durable guy, and that's why, you know, the fight did go the distance. But, you know, I also saw another side of Lipinets. He also can box. He can use defense. He can, you know, time for a counter. You know, so there's more to Lipinets than just the power. You know, there's more than just that right hand. So those are things I have to be aware of. I have to be cautious about. And that's why he is a world champion. So I respect him. I give him the credit for being champion with only 13 fights, you know, and taking on a fight against me, you know, shows his heart and determination.
Mikey, were you surprised by some of what he did in that fight? I mean, did you think he was capable of doing those things, or did he surprise you a little bit?
No, well, I hadn't seen that. You know, I had seen his fight against Zapavinia a year ago, and this time around he fought a little differently for some of the rounds. So I was a little surprised that he can box the way he did. You know, but that, like I say, you know, that's to show you know, he is more than what people paint him to be, and that's why he is a champion.
Thank you, Mikey. And I just have that quick question for Buddy. Buddy, you interjected before about, you know, talking, you know, keeping on topic on this fight, obviously. What are you hoping that Sergey shows people in this fight? Because I know, you know, you think very highly of his capabilities and what he can do.
It's not about what I want him to show. I know what he's going to do. I mean, it's just you know, just a matter of time. And like I say, my favorite 3 words for this fight is wait and watch. That's all I'm gonna say. So no matter what you ask me, that's gonna get the answer you're gonna get from me is wait and watch.
Okay, so our next question is going to come from Leanne Perez from Round by Round Boxing. Please go ahead.
Hi, I've got a question for Sergey and for Mikey. First one for Sergey being that earlier it was kind of asked already, but I guess I'll ask it differently. What was it during training camp at the beginning when the fight was scheduled for February 10th? What was it that you saw that was the concern, and how much later, a month later exactly, what kind of confidence does that give you for your hand going into this fight?
Какие из-за чего ты переживал изначально с рукой, и что сейчас тебе дает уверенность в своей руке?
Я переживал, что рука не восстановится, либо Майки не захочет драться, и мне это оппонента. Но сейчас я уверен в руке, потому что я сильно бью, и все отлично, ничего не болит.
Well, main reason for concern was, of course, that the fight is going to get completely scratched out. That was the main reason he was really upset. He knew that he wouldn't be able to use that hand at a full capacity the way it was. And then as a matter of fact, he had to go to the athletic commission appointed doctor to take a look at that, and he was the one saying that you can't fight. You have to lay off for a month to let that hand rest. Now the hand is great. He's using it every single day. He's hitting as hard as he can. There's no problem with it, and he's happy. That's it. I mean, there's nothing to be even worried about.
Okay. Mikey, how are you? How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Good to talk to you again. So I know that everybody wants to obviously talk about what's coming up next, and I know that you're more of a professional fighter to not think that far ahead. But I mean, what are you thinking about for March 10th with Sergey Lipinets as far as what kind of hunger and drive does that give you to make sure that you can, after this fight is done, we can talk about those type of things that we were talking about earlier?
Well, like I've always said, we have to plan out for the future, and plan for the best. But first things first. March 10th, I have a very important fight with Sergey Lipinets, and that's why, even though we do mention other future plans, my main focus has been Sergey Lipinets, for the past months. That's who's in front of me, and I think with his type of fighting, and style, and his hunger to be where I am. He said it before. He wants to be where I am. He wants to be in my place. That's a recipe for a great fight. He's gonna come in the best shape ever because he knows what's in front of him. He knows the opportunity that's in front. And I'm coming with everything because I also want that title. I want to gain that other 4th division title for me. So that's just the recipe for a great matchup. And I think he's gonna give, everything he has and leave everything in the ring. And I'm gonna do the same. That's who I am. You've seen me, many times. And that's just what I do. So I think it's gonna be a great match. I think I'm a win because of my boxing abilities. Like I said, my timing, my speed, my footwork. All the little elements I think are gonna help me win this fight. But it's definitely gonna be a great matchup.
Right. All right. Thank you guys so much. Robert, me and Manny want to say hello. And
hey, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, our next question is going to come from Jake Donovan from FightNights.com. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Mike, my question for you. I know you said obviously you're not looking past Sergey Lipinets. We all get that. But you're talking about fighting at 135, 140, and 147, all possibly within the next 12 months. Is there a weight class that would you say is best suits you, or is it just going to be about looking for the biggest fights and that you can make all three just as easy?
Well, you know what? I think right now, the best ideal weight for me is still the lightweight division. I feel that lightweight, is probably where I should be, fighting. But I'm open to taking on bigger challenges, and that's why we're taking on Sergey Lipinets. I got a good feel for a division, at 140 pounds when I fought Adrian Broner last summer, and I felt good. I felt comfortable in that weight class, and that's why we're taking on Lipinets this time, because I still felt comfortable enough to fight for junior welterweight, 140 pounds. Sergey is a strong, natural 140 pounder, but I feel comfortable enough being here. I feel stronger? I don't know. Maybe the guys are bigger guys, and that's why they can take a bigger punch. Lightweight, they're a little smaller. Maybe I can hurt them a little more. But I'm open to fighting, anybody that presents a challenge, and Sergey definitely does that right now, and that's why we took this fight.
All right, great. Thank you very much, Mikey. And then, Sergey, my question for you, I know Keith kind of asked before, but I wanted to present it a different way. You had a very tough and physical fight with Kondo in November. Aside from the hand, is it almost a blessing that the fight is pushed back a month? I mean, just to give your body a time to heal, because it's like you went from a rough fight straight to training camp. So do you think it's better that you're fighting, 4 months out instead of 3 months out?
У тебя был очень сложный бой с этим Кондо, с японцем. И это был тяжелый бой, и ты доволен тем, что на самом деле получил отсрочку от этого боя, потому что твое тело там серьезно, ты сильно напрягся в этом бою физически. То есть ты доволен тем, что сейчас так получилось, что у тебя больше времени загрузиться, отдохнуть было.
Думаю, да, поэтому, может, и случилась травма, может, мне нужно было больше отдохнуть, и так все случилось, как случилось, и это к лучшему, и у нас все хорошо, и мы получили большой опыт. Спасибо мистеру Кондо, он отличный боец, его терпеливость очень удивила всех, и не только меня. Он очень хороший боец, умный. И спасибо ему за этот опыт. Я прошел 12-раундовую дистанцию в хорошем бою и победил.
Well, I guess, his body has its way to show, what's and what. Yeah, he was ready to go on February 10th. He wanted to go, but whatever happened. And definitely a little more time gave him a little more, recoup time. Also, fight with Conda was a real tough fight, but it was more tougher on Mr. Conda, having taken all those punches that not that many people could have taken from Sergey. And Sergey was happy to just go 12 rounds and showed, his different different sides of him, and as well as, Mr. Conda turned out to be not as easy fighter as people thought he would be. And he's happy to go 12 rounds and to get that experience.
All right, great. Thanks, Alex. Best of luck to both of you next weekend. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Our next question is going to come from Salvador Rodriguez from ESPN Deportes. Please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I have a couple of for Mikey, so I want to ask in Spanish and he answer in Spanish and English. ¿Está bien, Mikey?
Sí, está bien, chaval.
Perfecto. Oye, te iba a preguntar, Mikey, ¿estás consciente de lo que vale en este momento, en este punto de tu carrera, que te ganen a ti? ¿Estás consciente de lo valioso que sería para Sergey lograr derrotarte y precisamente por eso tomarlo con la mayor seriedad posible?
No, por supuesto. Nosotros sabemos lo que está pues de por medio. En realidad todos los planes futuros que tenemos pues serían arrojados por la ventana si me logra vencer el Lipinets. Es por eso que lo tomo muy en serio esta pelea y estoy pues muy enfocado en esta pelea. Por eso entrenamos como entrenamos todo el campamento, se entrenó fuerte, con buenos sparring, para ir lo mejor posible para el 6 de marzo.
Si quieres decirlo en inglés, por favor, y te hago una segunda pregunta después.
Sí. So, question was asked, if I was aware of, the risk and what's really at stake for me if I were to lose this fight against Sergey Lipinets, what a loss would do for my career. So, of course I understand the risk and I understand what's at stake, what the cost would be, if I were to be beaten by Lipinets, all my future plans would be tossed out the window and I wouldn't be able to, do anything that I'm planning on doing in my future. But that's why I take this fight very serious. I took the camp very serious, worked very hard for all the weeks that we did and never took a break. And I'm very focused and determined on winning this fight because this fight will open the doors that I'm talking about, the bigger fight, the bigger plans. And that's why, I have to take Sergey Lipinets extremely serious. I can't overlook him at all.
Y segundo, preguntarte, Mikey, si este año ves posible que te puedas meter entre el top 3 de los mejores libra por libra. Sabemos que te gusta ir paso a paso, que vas pelea a pelea, pero que si al final me imagino que tu meta grande va a ser esa. ¿Ves posible el escenario para meterte ahí entre los 3, incluso el mejor?
Bueno, pienso que este es el comienzo, esta pelea con Lipinets. Al ganar esta pelea se van a abrir puertas para peleas más grandes. Terminando este año, si puedo conseguir las peleas que quiero, pienso que no va a haber duda de que soy entre los mejores, sino el más mejor peleador libra por libra, indiscutiblemente. If I can see myself in the pound for pound rankings, do I believe that this year might be the year where I can jump up to the maybe top 3 pound for pound, listings, if everything goes well for me this year. And I obviously feel that, this fight with Lipinets is the beginning. This will open the doors for bigger fights this year for me. And if everything goes according to plan and we win this fight and I take on the other fights that I want and I'm successful in all of my fights this year, there's not going to be any doubt that I belong in the top 3, if not number 1, pound for pound, undisputably.
Thank you so much. Gracias.
Ándale.
And our last question is come from Lim Satterfield from Premier Boxing Champions. Please go ahead.
Hey, Mikey, how you doing?
Hi, Lem.
Hey, hi, Richard. What's up?
Hey, how's it going, Lem?
Hey, good. Hey, Mikey, you flat out said that you were going to outbox. What do you think? Obviously, know you have boxing ability, but how many people do you believe that? I know Adrian didn't. And then how many, do you have a sense of how surprising that was in the boxing community?
Well, like I said, people still haven't seen the best out of me, and I keep telling people, the best is yet to come for a reason. I need the right opponent to challenge me, to push me to the limit, so they can bring out the best out of me. When I was fighting Adrian Broner, I told everybody that I would box and make the fight easy for me. Not a lot of people believe that because they just hadn't seen that side of me, or they hadn't seen Adrian Broner, outboxed. He's got the speed, he's got the skills. He's naturally the boxer. But I have something that people still haven't seen, and that's why with this fight with Sergey Lipinets, I gotta lose all my skills. Like I said, I seen in the last fight, he can also box, he can also counter, he has timing, and that's what makes him, a complete world champion. And I gotta be able to fight these challenges so that he can bring out the best out of me, and that's why I'm prepared to do everything it takes to win this fight on March 10th.
One more question for you, Mikey. Obviously, when Canelo's fought there and other Mexican fighters have fought there, brought out their Mexican supporters. How important is it to you to fight San Antonio from the standpoint of the Mexican fans?
Well, I think there's great history with Mexican fighters, and just to be accepted by the Mexican fans as one of their own, because my parents are born in Mexico. I speak the language. I travel to Mexico. I'm Mexican, born here in the United States, but with Mexican heritage and Mexican blood, but still be accepted, is great. And I'm just doing, what I got to do inside the ring to give glory to my family first, and to all my people that follow me and support me from Mexico. I think we're on the right path. That Mexico will be very, very proud. All my fans from Mexico will be very proud of my accomplishments, and can point a finger and say that's one of ours. He's our fighter, and that'd be just another huge accomplishment in my career.
Having said that, is there a tendency for you, or maybe a desire to possibly fight more toe-to-toe in this fight, or are you going to box completely if you have to box? I mean, is there a tendency to want to make it more of a brawl?
Look, I never go into a fight with one game plan and one game plan only. I'm prepared to do whatever it takes to win my fights. If I box my way through a decision victory, if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. If I have to brawl with my opponent, I'm prepared to do that. If I have to put the pressure on my opponent and exchange punches in order to land a punch and try to go for a knockout, then I'm prepared to do that as well. So I'm ready to do whatever it takes. I just know that it's going to be a great fight, and I know that the fans are going to be very happy with my performance.
Okay, my couple questions for Sergey. Thank you, Mikey. Sergey and Alex, are you guys there? You guys there?
Hello, Alex, yeah. Sergey. I think, Lime, they must have gone off, but we'll hook you up with them separately. Don't worry about it. So,
is
Buddy, is he there? Wait and watch.
Yes, they're gone.
No, like I said, we're here. We can hear
you guys are there. Okay. All right. We were waiting and watching.
Yeah.
Hello?
Well, like I said, there was not that many questions still going towards Sergey anyway, so we were about to...
No, there is one. There is one.
All right.
Is he still there, Sergey, or no?
Yeah, he's still here.
Okay.
He's still here.
All right, Lem, go ahead. Lem.
That he has been underdog or perceived underdog in a fight. And I know you have expressed to me, Alex, Sergey kind of took offense to the fact that Mikey chose him, thinking this is going to be an easy fight off of his last performance. Can you express, or can Sergey express, how motivated he is as a result of having participated in calls like this, to read about himself kind of, being just a stepping stone? What is that like for him, and how motivated he is for this fight?
Hey, there's all that training noise, Alex. There's all that training noise in the background. Can you step out?
Hold on.
Yeah, now it's better.
You still on there?
You hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Yes.
So did you hear my question?
Well, could you repeat it for a second?
Yeah, I mean, just what is it like for Sergey to have known that Mikey picked this fight, perceived to be an easy fight? This is his first fight in his career where Sergey's an underdog, and obviously you guys have expressed some frustration participating in this conference call when a lot of it is about Mikey's future, like he's being overlooked. And I want to know what it's like for him to train and participate in the promotion under those circumstances, and how motivated he is.
Все говорят только о Майке, а тебе никто ничего не говорит. И сам факт того, что Майки взял твой бой сразу после того, что ты стал чемпионом, и не говорит о тебе о том, что он не боялся, и тебе ему было все равно, что ты не такая страшная, типа, как бы челлендж. Да. Well, he understands why is it all about Mikey. He realizes the fact that he just stepped into the boxing world about 2.5 years ago. He understands what Mikey brings to the table and what he does, as far as the publicity, as far as the heritage, and as far as the boxing abilities. Of course, more people know who Mikey is than they do what Sergey is, and then he completely cool with that. He doesn't care if people think that Mikey is going to beat him, if Mikey is going to completely wipe him out. People think what the people think. Every boxing person that really understands boxing will understand what kind of a fight it is and what does it bring to the boxing. It's a great challenge, and then Sergey is always, it's all about challenge for Sergey, and so it is for Mikey too. So those are two great fighters that's going to fight each other. That's the way he looks at it.
That was the last question that we had.
Okay, thank you, everybody. As Buddy McGirt was saying, wait and watch. Well, the wait is almost over. A couple weeks left. So I say come and watch. Come and watch at the Freeman Auditorium for as little as $20, March 10th. 14 fights, including 2 World Championship fights, including one of the best fighters in the world going to challenge himself for a 4th weight class. And if you can't make it to the Freeman Coliseum in San Antonio, make sure you watch it at Showtime. But make sure you come and watch. Thank you very much, and we'll see you all ringside on March 10th in San Antonio.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me. I'll disconnect, and I hope you have a great day.